Hello. Regardless of if you've seen the show or not, everyone knows The Bear sets a high bar with its extremely strong character development, the anxiety-inducing sequences, and a lot of people being called chef.
And get back to work! Fuck you, Garrett!
Yes, chef, fuck me.
But more than all of that, the show is known for its high level of realism. Every episode captures the chaos and intensity of working in a restaurant, why every second counts, and the emotional tax it takes on everyone involved. With the third season just around the corner and the show consistently being praised for its realism, I had a few questions I needed to dig deeper on. What steps does the production take to accurately bring the show to life? What are the key traits used to immerse the actors? And most importantly, who are the masterminds that make the show so realistic?
What's up, everybody? I'm Matty Matheson! Yeah!
Yep, Matty Matheson. One half of the brain power behind the culinary accuracy of The Bear. The other half is Courtney Storer, former chef of John and Vinny's in Los Angeles and brother of Chris Storer, creator of The Bear. Together, they serve as culinary producers for the show, with Matheson even starring in it too. We'll get into the importance of the two of them in just a moment, but let's first start by discussing the steps the production took to set the actors up to step into the craft of being a chef.
Did you talk about the smudge?
Only a lot.
Immersion is extremely important to selling the authenticity of the characters, and the production realized that very early on. To fully immerse themselves in becoming a chef, Jeremy Allen White and Ayo Edebiri took some essential steps in the culinary world to bring this to fruition. To begin their learning, they took classes at the Institute of Culinary Education. Here, they started to build the foundation on everything. Most importantly, knife skills, movement, and repetition. With knife skills, no hand doubles were going to be used in the show for any of the prep or the chopping, so the actors needed to cut quickly, precisely, and with ease. The knife needed to move as if it was part of them. In terms of movement, they needed to learn how to effortlessly move through the tight space of a kitchen. This allowed them to move around with pots and pans with an accurate sense of purpose and urgency. Finally, Jeremy noted a lesson of repetition. To learn this, a case of eggs were brought in, and he was instructed to move his hands across different pans to find the ease, fluidity, and consistency chefs have when multitasking. Ending this lesson after making roughly 120 omelets. After a year of culinary school, they moved to working alongside chefs in renowned restaurants across the world, where they did everything from simple tasks like prepping sauces to turning out full entrees. Even learning intricate details that only fine dining chefs would notice, like how to hold a spoon, posture in the kitchen, and other small quirks. Everyone in the cast did this in their own way. Lionel Boyce worked alongside Richard Hart in Denmark to handle dough like a true baker. While all of this work helped the actors bring their skills to the highest caliber, the time spent training with different chefs, working in restaurants, and understanding how every role comes together showed them firsthand the sacrifice of time and the commitment it takes to be best in craft. Chris Storer wanted to make a story that was true to restaurant culture, so immersion was the key to make it a realistic environment. However, even with the steps taken by the actors, the cast and crew recognized the show feels the way it does because of Matty and Courtney. So let's discuss how they foster the attributes of a real restaurant on the set, how they help the fictional restaurant operate, and their ability to bring the small details to life in the moment.
Not gonna pop! It's popping! It popped! It popped!
Matty and Courtney were also extremely focused on immersion, but supported this by advising on important elements like the environment, dialogue, and the actual food seen throughout the series. From the standpoint of environment, it was important for both of them to make sure the set mirrored an actual professional kitchen for the actors to work in. They deliberately ensured the kitchen was built as one continuous cramped room. The result of this was the actors being forced to move more intentionally around the space, and the minimal space creating tension between the cast. To take this a step further, they needed the feel of not only a working kitchen, but one that was so accurate they could walk in and make every item that appears on the menu in the show. This made it so the actors were actually able to cook in the scenes, but to also create a kitchen environment with real stovetops and ovens, which in turn made it hot, sweaty, and with real sounds and smells filling the space. In the notable episode Fishes, the idea was floated that they could use prop food. However, Matty and Courtney quickly shot this down. They wanted the entire house to smell like seafood, sauce, and garlic. They wanted everyone to fully be in the zone of a Christmas feast. Past fostering an immersive set, Matty and Courtney worked in pre-production with the producers to work out different menu ideas. They wanted to do this as it allowed them to make dishes that are true to what the characters would create, but to also demonstrate how they would do it themselves as chefs. Once they had a good idea of this, the two of them would jump in the kitchen together to come up with the dish from start to finish. This process allowed them to create dishes using techniques, flavors, and ideas that Carmy and Sydney themselves would use. When they were done, they were able to deliver more than the dish. They presented the background and the story behind it to help further empower the writers. When advising the production on the dish, the duo also shared extreme details of how they worked together in the kitchen, including how their own conversations looked, how they collaborated together, and every step they took to create the dish. All of this information was taken to help Carmy and Sid mirror the techniques and to work with each other accurately to bring the dishes to life in different scenes. To build on this, Courtney and Matty would advise the writers on how they would talk to one another in the kitchen It would explain the cadence of how you would talk to another chef. This empowered the writers to craft scenes with more intention on how Carmy and Sid would communicate with one another. Once all of the work in pre-production was done, the work didn't stop for them. Matty and Courtney stayed on the set to watch the actors and advise in the moment. Jeremy Allen White specifically asked Matty to stop him anytime he did something or said something that looked off, which immensely helped him course correct when making mistakes. With all of the work the production did to accurately bring the show to life, why does it matter? Getting an emotional response is the most important part of any television show or movie. However, the immersion and realism seen in The Bear is what truly allows it to happen on another level. Viewers are able to create a strong emotional bond with the characters, the story, or the job of working in the restaurant itself. The authenticity is what makes the show feel real and allows the viewer to authentically empathize and feel the story. It brings a factor of relatability for the audience that other shows do not have in the same way. With the release of the new season, what are your thoughts on the show? Let me know below. Peace.